the co-chair of Columbia Comeback. We welcome you to a phase 2 presentation. Columbia Comeback has been created by Matt Morrell, the chair of the Board of Supervisors for Columbia County, to assist businesses in preparing for and beginning the reopening process. About an hour ago, the governor announced that the Capital Region is now able to reopen phase 1 tomorrow. The phase 1 reopening includes construction, manufacturing, retail at curbside, and various agricultural and forestry type businesses. Today's program is focused on phase 2. We're not sure when there'll be approval to begin opening phase 2 businesses, but in the interest of ensuring that people are prepared, we decided to hold these focus sessions to get a better understanding of what your needs are and your questions this week, rather than stagger them out as we had originally planned. So today we're going to be discussing phase 2, tomorrow at the same time, phase 3, and then on Friday, phase 4. So now I'd like to introduce Jeff Hunt, the president of the Columbia County Chamber and the co-chair of the Columbia Comeback Committee. Jeff?
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank each and every one of you for, especially the task force committee members, for joining us today as we go through the preparations for phase 2, opening by the governor. As Mike just mentioned, we don't really have a time specific for the opening of phase 2, but we wanted to begin a conversation so members of the committee and interested businesses can start to prepare for that eventual opening. What I do understand, and many of you who may be listening now may be also operating as essential services. And so it's important, and I think Mike's going to go at some point to talk about essential services versus the capacity that you can open up for phase 2. So if you've been operating as an essential service, you've been open all this time and working. However, phase 2 deals with the capacity that you can bring your support staff in, and includes retail capacity for beyond curbside. So we're going to address some of those issues and try to answer some of those questions today. And I hope that you find this Zoom meeting valuable. Remember, you can always go to the website, columbiacomeback.com, for up-to-date information and resources that we put on that site to assist businesses. Also, you'll have a list of the dates and times of the additional focus group meetings and the full committee meeting. So at this time, I'd like to turn it back over to Mike.
Thank you. As Jeff indicated, we don't actually know when to expect that we will be able to reopen, phase 2 businesses. There's been some discussion that might come 2 weeks, that these openings might be staggered by 2 weeks, so that there's an opportunity to see if there are any surge in the virus with the opening of these other businesses in phase 1. What we're encouraging you all to do is to take a look at the materials that were provided in a Small Business Development Center PowerPoint presentation that is on our website, that was presented on Saturday by the SBDC at the University at Albany, because one of the aspects of developing the phase 1 plan is that it will also be applicable to the phases that come after it. And as Jeff also mentioned, that the phase 1 guidelines and requirements are also required for essential businesses who previously were already open and operating, but who now have to take a step back and complete the paperwork and prepare the report and plan that is required by all businesses as their phase opens. With respect to the specific industries in phase 2, they are professional services, retail, administrative support, real estate, and rental leasing. The requirements that the state has imposed include that employers must have a plan, and there is a business safety plan template to use as a guide on our website and on which is columbiacomeback.com, as well as the state's website, forward.ny.gov. That link is also on our website. You'll also want to review CEDC guidelines for specific industry protocols, as well as New York State Health Department guidelines and the guidelines from OSHA. There are some significant information and resources on how to develop your plan on these websites. In addition, at columbiacomeback.com, we're beginning to aggregate and post guidelines for individual industries based on information that we have received from those industry associations that have taken it upon themselves to assist their membership and people in those fields with best practices. As an example, the National Association of Realtors has an excellent guide for realtors. The National Retail Association has a guide that would be posted. And as we move forward into phase 3 and 4, there are guidelines for industries such as restaurants, lodging, bed and breakfasts, museums, concert venues, and the like. Those are guidelines for you to take a look at and to get some ideas on best practices, and then to take those and apply those that you think are appropriate to your own business. But there is, as part of the governor's planned reopening, that the phase 1 people have to go through now, and that you'll have to go through when phase 2 and the subsequent phases are approved, includes reviewing an 11-page guideline where the owner or CEO or representative of the company has to attest that your company will abide by those requirements. And it also requires the development of a business safety plan that also includes specific steps that must be undertaken, as well as, and there's a template for that to help you prepare that without having to have everyone have their own. The requirement that the state has is that that plan be on file at your business and subject to review if the state asks to see it. We think that, and the guidelines in the document that you have to attest to include the mandatory best practices with respect to physical distancing, protective equipment, hygiene and cleaning, the critical importance of regular and frequent communication between management and staff with respect to the protocols of reopening, and with respect to the requirements of what has to be documented. One of the things that obviously the 6 feet, the 6 foot distance requirement, what's required if you're not less than 6 feet apart, including face coverings and other management and staff matters with respect to the protocols of reopening. In addition, if you could put everyone who's not be on mute while you're not speaking, I don't think we'll get the feedback that I'm hearing. In tightly confined space, if you're building a house, you may need 2 or 3 people to help you put the window in and hold it while you secure it. It's obvious that in some businesses and some activities in your business that it's not going to be impossible. It's going to be impossible to stay 6 feet apart. And there's some information and guidelines on that. The state also has information on specific industries on their website as well. I think all of you are in business. You're successful individuals. I think this really comes down to common sense. You need to have a plan. You need to have best practices. You need to have supplies to be able to clean and have masks and the like. Lots of signage. In some businesses, you're going to have what I call the hall monitor, so that someone just doesn't walk into an office and immediately goes over to the receptionist, and you may need a physical shield, plexiglass at her or his station, and I think basically, depending on the size of your business, the complexity of what you do, and the reality of your knowledge and experience of coming up with something that works. We talked about the affirmation. We talked about the safety plan, and I think one of the things we don't know about with phase 2 is, you recall when the shutdown started, we were told that first you need to reduce your headcount by 50%, then by 25%, and then everyone was to work from home remotely. Particularly since this involves office work and retail. I think that retail at the curbside is approved for phase 1, but retail where people come back into your shops and stores and the like. What if everyone decided they wanted to go to the tea shop at the same time because it was raining on Warren Street? Do you need someone at the door to be a monitor to be sure that all of a sudden you don't have 6 or 8 people in a small shop that it makes it impossible for them to keep their distance? But again, your businesses, what the state and all of us are trying to accomplish here in terms of not resulting in community spread of this virus. The masks are more for the protection of the person who's you're talking to, and because of the fact that there are so many carriers of this virus that are asymptomatic. But the good news is that working together, communicating with your employees, being conscientious of acting as the hall monitor with your customers or clients, I think will help us all get to where we need to get. The main concern that I think we have, that I think CEDC and the Chamber is looking forward to working with you and to assist you with, are the realities of if you are phased back into work, and if you haven't been able, for instance, for an office type environment to work effectively remotely, and now you're back in your office, or your shop that was closed is now reopened. Everyone has fixed costs, and with the reopening, there will be variable costs. And how do each of us work to develop to the best of our ability, with no real experience in this arena, a new, revised, updated business plan that will give you some projections and some idea of how do you ramp up the variable expense of operating your business based on, and match that to the unknown ramp up of your revenue. It's been difficult enough with being closed to be in a situation where you're not able you got to cover your variable costs or your fixed costs. But if you can't match the phasing in of your revenue with those costs, meaning you may not be able to bring everyone back at the same time. You may need to perhaps leave if you have people on furlough. Some may have to stay on unemployment through July 31st, when that $600 premium goes away, because the ability of surviving in this environment, it will be as obvious to all of you as business people, matching revenue to expenses. At that point, Jeff, did you have something that you wanted to focus in or correct?
Yeah, Mike, I didn't hear. Yeah, thanks, Mike. I didn't hear you mention the phase 2 openings will have to also adhere to the daily recording of temperatures of their employees, and you
Yes,
can do that several ways. So
part of the health plan that you're going to have to develop in this template requires that employees have to be temperature monitored. If there any interaction with the public, have to be masked. It's good practice to mask if you're in a business where you're not interfacing with the public, but just with each other when you're interacting with each other in close distance. And then there's record keeping, because as you may have remembered, the reason we were delayed from Sunday and reopening in this region was there were not sufficient trackers. And they did deputize a significant number of local and county and state employees in the region to get those tracers certified yesterday so we could open tomorrow. But the tracers, we need 360 for the 8-county region. And the issue becomes you're not going to need them all at once, because the tracers get busier as more people get back into the work environment, and to the extent that people become infected. So, if you have to keep records of who you've met with, who you've engaged with, so that if you become infected, the health department will have a tracer call you or a family member and attempt to identify all the people that you have been in contact with, so that they can go and ask those people to consider quarantining themselves for 14 days, or in certain cases, mandatory quarantine. At first, it seems very tedious. I listened to this webinar that I encourage you to take time to review. And again, it's 36 minutes. It was very well done. It talks about, it's geared towards phase 1, but we're all going to have utilize the same basic phase 1 rules, and then the supplemental rules that impact your individual industries. But it does seem tedious, but I believe there will be record forms that you can use. One idea was have each employee, rather than have them come to work and have to take their temperature and send them home, that you could have them take their temperature at home and email you, and then they're coming in and they don't have a temperature. Again, a lot of this is going to have to be driven down to self-monitoring. My wife works at Albany Medical Center, and in that environment, it's mandatory. They have staff people designated at the door to take the temperature of every employee. But in a smaller business environment, it's some element of allowing people to do it at home and call in might simplify it or make it easier for you. Jeff?
for those who may have QuickBooks, there's a component if you use it for your employees to log in for their time card. There's a function that you can use to track their temperatures as well. But the key to having them email the temperature to you is so you have a record. So in case the state does come into your facility to monitor your books, that you have a record of that. That's going to be very important. I think we're ready to take questions, Mike.
Yes, obviously, we don't know all that much about it, more than you do, because this stuff is coming out in dribs and drabs over time. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity to challenge our skills at mid-course corrections. But that's where we are now, and we're happy to answer questions. If we don't have the answer, we can get them for you. Not exactly sure if there's a way to raise your hand here or just jump in.
Mike, Nadine has a question. As a retail, how we're supposed to keep track of customers? Customers from her business do not always want to give their name.
Their phone number or their email address either, right? I'm not sure. Do you recall anything specific with that, Jeff? I think,
Well, I think it must be remembered that we're operating in a different time, and people are somewhat aware of the guidelines that are required of contact tracing and of testing. And so I think people will probably be a little bit more forthcoming now, knowing that this is for their safety and for the business's safety.
I also believe this is Chuck. I believe in the guidelines, it does give you an out. It says customers may be encouraged to provide contact information to be logged, but are not mandated to do so. So okay. I think we have sort of some leeway with that.
And we will get this link. Well, hopefully one of our staff people is listening and they can put the link up for the 36-minute seminar, because it's apparently difficult to find on our website. Do we know when a not-for-profit religious organization that also functions as a residential retreat center falls within 4 phases? Do you know where? I think in the 4 phases, it's probably phase 4 for the retreat center, or phase 3 as a lodging. A lot of this stuff is difficult. Take Olana. They can open as a state park, but they can't give tours of the house, and they can't hold large gatherings of more than 10 people. So, many of your businesses are going to fall in. You can open a hotel is a essential business right now and can be opened, but it shows up as lodging in phase 3, because if you had a restaurant, you can't run the restaurant. And if you had a exercise facility, you can't open the gym. So it's, again, one size clearly doesn't fit all. And I do think the common sense element comes back to it.
Hello, Mike. It's Nicole. May I ask a question?
Certainly, please.
Hi. I'm in real estate. I have an office on Warren Street, and I wondered if there's any guidance about ventilation. I don't have any ventilation in my office, and I'm very concerned. Even if we all have masks on, if they're not N95, that's not going to do anybody any good. And I just wondered if there's any guidance about ventilation.
I know that with respect to our own office, one of our staff has a engineering and planning background, and he has been looking into that. Let us see if we can find out some additional information. And, I guess it's, I don't know if, it's the same issue on airlines. You have the same issue in large buildings that have multiple tenants. I would suspect they have the same issue in hospitals and schools, but let me see if we can find something out and share it with all of you, but specifically with you, Nicole.
Thank you, because everything you read that is considered a great danger is being in a space where there's no airflow, and then people are very susceptible.
Right. On the flip side, I guess if there is airflow, it might cross-contaminate spaces. So, I understand we'll get whatever we can for you and get back to everyone.
Thank you so much, Mike.
I think one of the issues becomes getting supplies. If there was a really smart entrepreneur out there, he or she would create a $500 box, a $750 box, and a $1,000 box, depending on the size of your business, with at least the key things that you need: the masks, the sanitizer, the cleaning supplies. Because if you have to go to 3 or 4 or 5 different locations to pick up all this stuff for your small business and find out that they're out of what you need at the place you're supposed to pick that up, that's some of the things I think that with the possible 2 weeks between now and phase 2 reopening, you will want to start focusing on, because I know it's been difficult, in our office, anticipating to go and find it all at one location or even in stock. I think the other thing too is, if you're not unlike what restaurant people are doing now for phase 3, and that's, kind of taking a back of the envelope sketch of your space and, do you need to move in a retail operation, a small display or a small table that had merchandise on it to facilitate easier access or circulation within the space. So, I know a lot of, again, that's going to be very personal and customized to each of your circumstance. And we all know the reason and the purpose and how to do this. So a lot's got to be back to the common sense route and the knowledge of your own industry and business. Other questions? Jeff, are there any more questions on this where people type in? Let's see. The rules.
Yes, Mike. We have a question from an art gallery. They want to know if there are retail, arts, and entertainment. At first glance, I would say they fall into all 3. However,
I would think if you're selling product that you can take the cover of retail. I'm on the board of an art museum, and we don't think we can open until you get to the later stages where, just because we have a gift shop in the heart of the building, I don't think you can say we're retail, so come on in. But there is on the website, Forward New York, there is a toolkit where you can put in the type of business, and presumably it helps you define which phase you're in. But again, there's some you're making great examples where, people are, the nature of their business doesn't fall in it could fall in all 4 categories. I think we just we have information that Carol Wilbur has posted Carol, where have you posted it? I just saw that you may have seen it come up to where.
Hi, Mike.
Where you get the link.
Yeah, the website, Columbia Comeback, look on the resource page and you'll see the SBDC webinar link at the top of the page.
Okay. So then if we go back to the chat, you're supposed to keep track of customers, post the link, not-for-profits, galleries. Thank you for thanking us. Thank you for attending. Hairdressers, the governor was asked about barber and hairdressers and he confirmed on Saturday that they are considered retail. So with the next second phase, those businesses can reopen. And if any of you can see this, I'm going to be the first customer. Then the rules focused on existing businesses. I think with a new business, certainly come and see us for at CEDC for technical assistance and a small business loan. I am shameless, but we do have business loans. We have done some grant programs and look forward to providing additional help, as does the Chamber with their programs to support businesses. But we'd be happy to talk to new businesses. I think, everyone's gonna have to comply with the same basics. And then everyone's going to have to find, I'd look at the industry that you're opening your business in and start to follow that guide, but certainly contact us for specific guidance. Too many telephones here. Well, thank you. CEDC is Columbia Economic Development Corporation. We're the county economic development organization. We have loan programs. We're membership driven and board driven organization that's been around for over 30 years. And we complement the type of work that the chamber does is support businesses by helping new businesses and help existing businesses expand. But thank you for asking.
Mike, I also think it's important that we explain to the businesses that are in the second phase that we're still looking at capacity. So you're not gonna, whenever we get the go ahead to open up in phase 2, you're not gonna start with 100% of your customer base. You're gonna probably start off at 25, move up to 50, then to 75, and then to 100%, as long as we stay within the health matrix that the governor set forth. And I hope people understand that.
And the difficulty of that in a retail operation is unless you're, taking appointments, which you might as well do curbside, which you can do now. How do you define what was? I think there's some discussion that it's going to go to the square footage of your facility, because who's going to remember what 25% is of your business on a particular day or month or week? And so there are some guidelines that I saw which we can dig out and direct you to, where it depended on the square footage of your space how many people you could allow in at a time. But those again, some of these things are not as, the rules don't always take into account individual circumstances or unique retail stores. We know you are all very, very busy. We're happy to answer questions, but we don't want to just continue this until we get more information. We'll have subsequent programs. The comeback committee will meet on Tuesday of next week. I keep telling people Monday because we were going to do every other Monday, but this coming Monday, as you know, is Memorial Day. So we will be meeting Tuesday. As we get closer, we'll continue these phased meetings as we know more from each of the phases as they open and as more information is posted. But I would continue to check the Columbia Comeback website resource page as we keep.
Mike, I have an answer to the question earlier about the young lady who had the question about ventilation in her office.
Yes.
It's recommended that you open all windows and leave your door open to encourage circulation of air.
Thank God we're not in the Adirondacks with black fly season. We do appreciate what you're all up against. This is going to be a new experience. It's going to be difficult, not without financial difficulties that we're here to hopefully help you with. We do encourage you to set up even if you go online and get a template business plan and start to do some projections and analysis, depending on where you are in that process. Many of you already do that. There's countless guides out there on resiliency. We will be posting some of those online, and we do have some counselors or business advisors on who we retain from time to time to help businesses with specific issues, and we'd be happy to talk through those with you if you're interested in having us do that for you.
And also, if you are planning to reopen, please visit the CEDC's website, the Chamber's website, and the County Tourism website. And the County Tourism and the Chamber also have a Facebook page where they're tracking business openings. So you want to get the word out that you're planning to open and that you're open. Please see the Chamber and CEDC and County Tourism to be able to get your information out there that you're open and open for service, whatever it is, either phase services or curbside. It's important that we're there to help you to market that you are open.
And I also, Jeff and I had a call this morning with the Columbia County Association, Library Association, and all of the librarians from the county were on the phone. They're moving forward, hoping that they will be certified as retail. They're trying to resolve that with the state now, but they're a great source of information, and we're partnering with them on getting the word out on various of the information resources, and ask you to also share resources with your employees and colleagues and competitors even. Maybe not the first day with the competitors, but we are all in this together. I know there's some who are concerned about moving too fast in connection with these reopenings. And, I think, I guess there's no way of telling what is too fast and what is, perhaps more cautious. And I think, some of the concerns are that if my neighboring store opens and I don't because I'm not ready, because I'm concerned about where we are in this whole curve, how will that impact the perception of my establishment? And I think everyone just has to do what they feel is best for their business and what they're most comfortable with from their own health. Jeff, did you have anything else? If there are no other questions, stay tuned. Obviously, you found us once. We hope that we will you'll find us again. And if you need us, reach out to us, both the Columbia County Chamber of Commerce, the Columbia Economic Development Corporation, and we're easily located through the Columbia Comeback website. Our meeting next Tuesday with the full committee is also at 1 o'clock. That will be for the public to participate or listen in through YouTube. Any further questions? Otherwise, Jeff, I'll turn it over to you to close.
No, I just want to remind committee members that they can always, they're welcome to attend any of the committee meetings that they want to, not necessarily restricted to their industry sectors. And we look forward to your continued participation.
Thank you very much, and please stay in touch.
Thank you.
Was this recorded for those who missed it? Yes. We will get that information to you and post it on the website. I believe the county assisted us in recording this. So goodbye.